Glimpse of a fading moon in the dawning sky, Part 2. As she continued down the walk with her guide, they encountered several of these ladies, who respectfully stepped aside to allow the man passage. They bowed their heads and bent their knees, uttering the greeting, meager, to which the man answered, vrendo, and gestured for them to rise as he and Emeravwe walked by. They came to a building with a wide patio flanked by a robust ponytail palm and low-trimmed bushes. On the patio, girls attired in pink stood patiently in groups of threes, their hands folded in the diaphanous sleeves of their outer robes. One girl in pink stood on the stone landing before the building's double doors. As the man and Emeravwe approached, the girls all bent their knees and bowed their heads, pronouncing in unison, "Migwa, Orori." The man responded, "Vrendo, rise." He addressed the girl at the doors. "Inform the Rodeaye that I request their audience." "Yes, Orori." The girl bent her knees in response and entered the building. As Emeravwe and the man stood waiting on the patio, some of the girls noticed her glued to his side. They gasped and turned to their peers with whispers. This caused more of the girls to notice her, and Emeravwe heard exclamations of a valued child. She did not know what they meant, but their eyes and whispers unnerved her, so she unwittingly drew closer to the man, hiding herself in the soft folds of his robe. The double doors of the building opened, and a group of women emerged from within. They were dressed in identical deep blue garments covered by a sheer outer robe. The robe was fastened in place with a gold and silver brooch in the shape of a sun flanked by crescent moons. On their heads were matching sheer blue headscarves with wide bands which covered their foreheads. At the sight of them, the girls in pink immediately ceased their whispers and composed themselves. The woman, noticing the man on the patio, greeted him as the girls had done. Then each triplet of pink-clad girls rallied behind one woman and made their way from the building. "Good morning, Orori," a portly woman addressed the man as she and her triplet walked past him. She peered deeply at him, as if trying to see through the cloth covering his face. It is quite rare for a eunuch of the inner palace to be seen in the outer palace, much more in the maiden's compound. The man responded stoically, "Our duties have expanded for the time being, as the palace is yet unsettled." "Unsettled?" The woman breathed deeply. "Indeed, there is no softer way to describe our current state of upheaval. May Ogene guide Ovie and the royal queen dowager. So we pray." Presently, the girl who entered the building to deliver the man's message reappeared to announce, "Orori, the Rodeaye will see you now." The woman bowed her head, "May you go in peace," and departed with her triplet of girls. Emeravwe and her guide entered a wide hallway and were greeted by another slim girl in pink. She opened the door, indicating for them to proceed within. They entered with Emeravwe clinging timorously to the man's side. She had heard him say they were in the palace, but she did not know anyone in the palace. She did not want to be there. Seeing so many people rushing around frightened her. The room they entered was simple. A row of windows lined one wall, and a long table surrounded by chairs sat at its center. 3 women stood before the table to welcome their guests. When the man entered, he once again unwrapped the ends of his headcloth from around his face. The 3 women gasped in surprise as they recognized him. "So it is Orori Odirin who wishes to see us," the short woman in the center exclaimed. They all stepped forward, paying obeisance as they greeted, "Migwa, Orori Odirin." They were dressed in the same deep blue garments as the woman Emeravwe saw earlier. Unlike the other women, however, their robes and headscarves were also brocaded with the golden sun and crescent silver moons design that adorned their brooches and the man's headcloth. The man gave a slight bow of his head, answering, "Vrendo, you may rise." Thank you for joining me for this reading. If you enjoyed the story so far, become a supporter by joining me on Patreon. You can gain early access to each new audio chapter, as well as get written chapters to read along. You can find me at patreon.com/oroje. Also, be sure to press the subscribe button for more content from this channel. See you at the next chapter.